Okay, anyone who knows me will know that one of my favourite bands is Shed 7, and it's my pleasure to have Rick Witter on the line right now. Hello, Rick, how's it going?
Hello, mate, you alright?
Yeah, I'm good. It was great
Very nice, calling me special. That's very nice of you, thanks.
You are a very special guest. You've been on the show before, and
Yeah.
of course, you know Stoke quite well. You were here in the summer doing a DJ set.
They always tend to become quite messy, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Because it starts off, everyone wants to just mob you, have a photograph taken with you. That's how it starts off. And then that's it. The drinking starts, and away it goes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a slightly strange experience in that respect, because you're basically turning up and playing other people's music, you know, and as fun as that is, because to be honest with you, if I wasn't somewhere else doing it, I'd be at home doing the exact same thing, apart from taking pictures of myself, of course. But you know, it's really funny when people have had a drink and they really want to hear Common People by Pulp or something of that ilk.
Yeah.
And they look at, when you put it on, they look at you as if you created that, and it's like, well, hold on a minute, I'm just putting it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always a nice experience to come out and meet people and have a bit of a laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still do your weekly night in York DJing?
I do, yes. Every Thursday I do in York, and now I've got I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have my own radio show on Sunday evening.
Yes.
And that's going from strength to strength. I'm enjoying doing that.
Yeah, I do listen. It's called Disco Down, of course. And you've had some great guests on there. Is anyone who you'd like to have on you've not had on yet?
Very good question. To be honest with you, I'm quite lucky in the respect that I don't really actively seek it. It's got to the point where now people are actually asking if they can come on, which is a really nice situation to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a really wide-ranging kind of guest list. I've had Alan Carr, I've had Keith Lemon, and then I've had your obvious musicians like your John Powers and your Mark Morrises and so on and so on. So, you know, I don't... It's really nice to talk to people and find out about their life, and I think a lot of people like to come on because I'm in a similar boat. You know, I've been in that position where I'm the one who's being interviewed all the time, so I know what not to ask, and I know when it might be boring. You know, I mean, I can steer the conversation off.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets like that when you're talking to somebody you're really interested in. You end up just having a conversation. You've got to remember you've got listeners, haven't you?
Exactly, yeah, and that is the best way, really, because then you're just having a chat, you know, and people are more likely to want to listen to that. It's like eavesdropping over a conversation in a pub almost, you know.
Yeah, of course it is. And you're never stuck for music to play. It's just a great amount of songs you can pick from, and you choose it all yourself, don't you?
Well, that's the only reason I do it, to be honest. If I was told what to play, I'd stop doing it. I mean, obviously, I have a certain reputation to maintain anyway, but, you know, if I was was told that I've got to put Wigfield on, then I don't do it anymore, you know. But, yeah, I find it thrilling that I can just go somewhere for 2 hours and show off, basically. I mean, obviously, I like what I like, and it's brilliant that other people might like it too, and if they don't, then they turn off. It's fair enough for me. I don't really care about that. Yeah. But for on a Sunday evening, if you know, for that 2 hours, if I fancy putting a Pixies B-side on, then I'll just do it. You know, it's brilliant. I love that freedom to be able to do that.
Yeah, and when you're out and about DJing in clubs, you get people coming in who might not know what's going on, and they might be the ones who ask for your Wigfields. Does that happen?
Of course, all the time, yeah, all of the time. But, you know, they get a stiff word and maybe the odd hand gesture. But, you know, that's part of life, isn't it? You know, I mean, if everybody liked the same things, it'd be awfully boring.
I've got you on the phone, of course, to talk about the December Shed 7 tour as well. It's imminent. It's become part of Christmas for quite a few people. Well, thousands of people.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's weird. I mean, we obviously advertised that we were going to be touring in a few weeks' time, but, you know, all of this takes time planning. We kind of discussed that we'd do this maybe last Christmas, and then advertising it probably March, April time. Tickets on sale around about then. So it always seems a long time ahead when we announce these things, but then suddenly, here it is. It's 4 weeks away. It's come around quite quick. We rehearsed last night, and I was thinking as we were rehearsing that we kind of reformed to play our old songs 8 years ago now. We've been going as long now after reforming as the majority of the time that we were quite big in the 90s, you know. But yeah, it's good. It's funny because we actually only do it every other year, but a lot of people seem to think we do it every year, but we don't. It's actually every other year that we do a big tour, and we maybe throw in the odd gig here and there on the down years, but I think it works well that way. I think if we did do it every year, people might start thinking, well, I won't go this year, I'll wait once a week, just getting like that. We don't really need to consider anything else, really.
Yeah. I can remember you playing the Sugar Mill, very early 2000s in Stoke. And my cousin was a bit of a Shed 7 fan. I thought, he's never been a gig, I'll take him. So he went and he bought, this is like 10 minutes before he came on, he bought 2 pints. He said, I'm going to stand by the barrier. And he lost both pints within the second song. He lost a tooth. And he had a footprint on his back, and he said it was one of the best nights out he's ever had. There
you go. You can't go wrong with that, can you? Yeah, I don't think I've never really been one for being in like a mosh pit scenario. Even when I was a youth, it's not something that ever really thrilled me. But I do enjoy watching people in it having a lot of fun.
Yeah. It can be a bit like that with some of the songs when you do Friday, and some of the bigger, anthemic songs.
It is always a big kind of thrill for me as well. But this has taken on a life of its own, and I'm sure this will happen on this next tour. But when we play Getting Better, I do like to go down into the crowd at the end and let them sing the last chorus through the microphone, and that's always creates a little bit of a furor down the front, so I'll look forward to that.
I always remember at that gig as well, you were quoting that the Link was using Speakeasy on their adverts.
Yeah.
Well, they've gone now, haven't they? So you've had the last laugh.
Well, exactly, yeah, and we'd certainly have in that respect, definitely, yes. I don't really understand all of that at the time, but we did end up meeting the fella who wrote the jingle for Bodyform, so who wins there?
You definitely. The 90s are becoming a massive thing now, like the 70s and 80s. I doubt the 2000s will have that sort of reputation in a few years, and TFI Friday is something that's come back. And of course, you were on there a few times. I'm surprised you haven't been on again yet. Bieber's been on.
Yeah, well, I've kind of seen clips of these new shows, and they've not asked, but an awful lot of people on Twitter are saying why haven't they asked you and stuff. But I can kind of see why they haven't really, because I don't think they're trying to be a retro show. Let's remember what it was like. I've noticed that most of the bands that are on it are relevant to now, so they're just, it's. I think people are hankering over something from the past, but everyone has to move on. Obviously, I would be more kind of asking the question of why aren't we on there if we had new songs to promote. Then we'd be on there. Then I would imagine playing a new song, and then maybe play an old one as well, but. Until the day comes where we've got new songs, then unless we are on some type of retro programme, then I can't see us being on anything that's relevant to now, really.
That was my next question about new material. Has it
not
been discussed? It always gets discussed. It gets discussed every interview.
Yeah, it has become a little bit of one of those. But to be honest with you, I think we're on with it. We are now kind of thinking, yes, let's write some new songs. So we don't really want to put undue pressure on ourselves and say we are, but it's certainly it's being mooted as we speak. So fingers crossed next year we'll get together and write some new stuff, yeah.
Thank you, mate. You're a star. Speak
Good
to you
man,
soon.
nice one.
And enjoy the
All
tour.
right, cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
See you, mate.